Hi everyone, it's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue. Hi, good morning. It's a beautiful Tuesday morning here in downtown Peabody, Massachusetts. That's where I'm from. I was noticing on the chat before I got on that we have somebody from Australia that's joining us, has been joining us, but she's mostly been, just quiet in the background. So good morning and greetings from the US. And we've got all kinds of people on. So if you're new, please feel free, or if you're just maybe never chatted before, feel free to hop on the chat. If you're watching this live, hop on the chat and say hello and where you're from. And maybe if you have a question or two, the folks that are manning the chat, including our friend Loretta, they're there to help or just to say hello. It's nice to know that we have friends all over the world, isn't it? So good morning to everyone. This is Joy Week, and we are doing a week's worth of joy projects and just sort of introducing or reintroducing ourselves to the joy and all that it can do. Actually, I was looking at the schedule for this week and I'm like, but I forgot I could also do a mug on the mug press, and I want to do like a long cut sign, and there's just so much that can be done on this little machine that you'd be surprised. You do have to think about some things once you get into it, and so I wanted to make sure I covered all the bases this week, and then hopefully we can go back to our Friday Joy Fridays and do our Friday Joyful Fridays again, like we were doing before. But today in Joy Week, we are working on cards. Now, yes, I know. Oh, Annette's here. Good morning. Hello to all my friends. And yes, Annette, who is a very, very adventurous joy user, has done a lot of work on changing things up, or at least getting more recognition for the joy. And I know she's got a lot of tricks on in her pocket, and I welcome her. We didn't see you yesterday, Annette, but that's okay. So good morning. Oh, there's Penny. Hi Penny, how are you? So this morning we're going to talk a little bit. It's going to be kind of basic if you've already done this before, but just to reintroduce you to one of the inventions, I guess, that came with the joy, and that is the, and that is the card, oh my goodness, it's called the Cricut Joy CardMat. Owen. Sorry, I'm breaking up here, hoping that my son comes by so he can bring me my water, because I forgot it this morning. All right, so, okay, sorry to get off track. I am fine. I am fine. Okay, so yesterday, as you know, we just kind of did some basics, like what the joy is all about, how you plug it in, and how it works, with your devices. But one of the things that when the joy was introduced was this CardMat. So this CardMat was a new thing. Now, last year they introduced the CardMat for the larger machines. It's called a 2x2 CardMat, and we played around with that quite a bit last year. But this was the original invention that got everybody excited about the Cricut Joy. Let me show you. This one's a brand new one. And it comes like this, and you'll notice there's the little packaging, and you'll notice that it has on it This just tells you what it's about. And then it will have on it the card protector, which I would save because it protects the sticky part of the mat, you see, and there is like a little pocket in here. And what you'll also notice on this card mat is that there are 3 sizes. Now, when this first came out, the only size that it did was the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's folded. Okay, so unfolded. You see it is 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and you take the folded side, open it up, and sneak that bottom piece through that pocket, and you'll see that it is perfectly aligned with the lining here. And then you press this down and it sticks, and then we can go ahead and make our card. This gets around the fact that the Joy does not do scoring, and a lot of people wanted to make cards with it, and I thought this was a really fantastic idea, and they've gone ahead and added more card sizes, as you can see down here. So there is a 3 1/2 by 4.9. This is the 4.25 by 5.5, and then there's a larger one that is 4.5 by 6.25, which is almost an A7. I think it might be an A6. And so if you're not a card maker, or you're not coming from a card making background, I'm going to just take my little plastic thing and cover this for right now. You should know that cards come in different sizes, and one of the standard sizes is called an A2, and that is what we started with these card mats. So Cricut does sell these. These are insert card packs. You don't need to use these card packs. I'm going to show you how to cut your paper. So I don't know what this stuff is on there, but I'm going to show you how to cut your paper. But this is the standard size, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And you can see these are all what's called insert cards. And the reason why they call them insert cards is because there's no glue involved. Where's my thing here? Here we go. There's no glue involved in making these cards. Where did my, oh, here it is. Okay. Simply, you're going to put this in your card mat like this, and then it will go through the process of either writing or foiling, and then cutting out. And you see it has these 4 little sort of tabs, or I don't know, what do you call those? I call them tabs, but you're going to take your insert, this is the insert, and you're going to put these into these little tabs without the use of any glue, and you will get a really cute card. Now, if you're a long-time card maker, this might not be an okay card for you to do, and there are lots of tricks to get around this, having this on the back. But if you're in a pinch, like this is an example of me in a pinch. I found out over the weekend that my neighbor, who had a beautiful West Highland Terrier dog named Bailey, he's been here for ages, actually 16 years. I've seen him walking this beautiful dog, Bailey, such a cute little dog, and he passed away. And I was like, oh, darn it, that's terrible. And the poor man was so choked up that I was like, I gotta make something for him. So I went on to the app and found something. In this one here, I wish I could make it better, because I was looking for like a pet sympathy and everything, and I'm going to show you where to find these cards in a second. But here's another one. If you are interested in making these insert cards, there are already a bunch of them already made for you that you can tailor to your particular need. Now, remember I told you yesterday that you cannot use the Joy without without an app of some sort or using a device of some sort. The Joy has no buttons, so you cannot operate it unless you have Bluetooth. And I'm using my iPad here, but you could also use your phone, whether it's an Android or an iPhone. You can get the app for those. You can also use your laptop or your desktop or whatever else. I know some people have tried some tablets. I don't know about those. I use the iPad and it works great for the iPad. Now there are two different apps for the Cricut Joy, and these are only, there's one that's only for the Cricut Joy, and I wanted to show you that one today. So I'm going to search in the App Store. I'm going to type in Cricut, just like that, and we'll see. Look, so this is the Cricut Design Space app, okay? And this is the Cricut Joy app. So they're slightly different. This one's all green and this one's the white with the green, okay? So we're going to actually use this Cricut Joy app. I'm going to open it because it's already on my iPad, and this is what you get. So I am logged in, but if you're not, you can log right in or create a Cricut ID. It's the same ID as you would have in Cricut Design Space, by the way. And you'll notice that there are a number of selections here: paper, vinyl, iron-on, labels, and there's the insert cards. Now you notice up here there's a difference between this insert card says custom and this insert card, which it says ready to make. So we're going to choose the ready to make section and we're going to browse. Now, as I told you, there are a lot of these cards ready, and you can go ahead and personalize them any way that you like. There's almost 1,400 of these, and they span from things like winter solstice to 4th of July. There's thank you, Thanksgiving. There's some in English, some in other languages, but there are just a lot of cards here. Now, you can also search, which right up here, you go to the search engine and you can type in, say, sympathy, or I typed in Halloween. So here's Halloween, and I've got 13 cards that are under Halloween, but I think there's more if you look under different words, but we're just looking at these Halloween ones. So let's have a look at this one with the kitty cat, because I did already this one, the trick or treat yourself. So let's look at this one. When you click on that, we get this selection of, okay, I want to make this. So this is assuming you know nothing about making it, but you have the joy and the materials. So here are the supplies you're going to need. You're going to need an insert card, the mat. You're going to need a pen. You're going to possibly need the foil transfer tool with transfer sheets. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then a weeder and a scraper. So there's all kinds of how do you make this under here, all built into the app, but I'm going to take you through those things. So I get here and I'm like, wow, I really like this cat. I might want to change it up and change, instead of being cream, I might want to make it black and use, like I did here, use like a color marker, like maybe a metallic, which I do have. And so I might want to change up the color. So I'm going to hit start making. And you'll notice down here, it says choose your card size. Now, as I mentioned, there are various types of card sizes for the Joy now. But when this was set up, the only card size that was available was this A2, or as Cricut refers to it. It's an R20, rectangular 20. And that is the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch size. Okay. And let's have a look at one of these boxes. So if you go to the store, Michael's or whatever, you can find these boxes, and they're all different, like samplers on the back. It tells you, you know, what you get. Here in this particular one, there's 12 cards, and you're going to get 4 suntan, 4 khaki, and 4 tulip. And then down here are the inserts. You get 4 of the ester, 4 tangerine, and 4 blue. And then you're also going to get envelopes. So if you're in a hurry and you want to craft, and you want to be able to, like, get, you know, just sit down for 5 minutes and make a card for someone because you're going out the door, or you're meeting somebody, you know, like, just want to make a quick card. These insert card packs are really great to start with. They may not be all the colors that you want, and I'll show you, they do come in all these different colors. I don't know what this is. Get that off there. But this one here is called the Romantic Sampler. This one's the Mesa Sampler. This one is called the Rainbow Scales. And so they all have different things. So when you go to the store, you might get a little overwhelmed, because in addition to different sizes, there are different sets of cards doing different things. So I just want to point that out to you. All right, this is the basic, this is what we started with, but I wanted to show you these others that you can also choose from. Now here you see my dog bit this, but these are called R10 cards, so they're smaller, and my dog wanted to see how small these were. This looks like a job from Teddy Bear. So these cards are 3 1/2 by 4.9. You can see here I have, in addition, this is called a foil transfer insert card, so I'm also going to get foil with this. Okay, I get my envelopes, I got my cards, and then I have also my little inserts. Okay, so this is the foil cards. There's another foil card, but in a larger size, 4 1/4 by 6.25. Okay, and then there's more inserts. This is also the 4 1/2 by 6.25. Then we have other cards. We have these are watercolor cards, and they're to be used with your watercolor pens. We're going to talk about pens in a second. And then you also have these cutaway cards, which are different than the insert cards, but I wanted to show you them anyway, because it's hard sometimes. You really have to pay attention to the box that you're buying. So they sort of look the same, but this one says cutaway and this one says insert cards. So when you're shopping for these, you have to sort of kind of know what am I going to be using these for, and do I have all the supplies that I need. So typical of Cricut, they've given us so many different options, and one of the options that they've given us is in with the pens. So when this first came out, they just had a few pens. This is the fine point pen. And you'll notice it's a different size than maybe if you work with other pens on your Explorer or your Maker. It is smaller in size. That's to fit into our machine. But you're going to want to just check the side of the pen to make sure you're using it for the right thing. So for example, this is the watercolor marker in purple, and what that means is I'm going to have to use this on watercolor paper, and then I can go ahead and use what's called a brush pen. So here is my brush pen. It comes with the watercolor pens, and then I can smush around the color with that pen. All right. It also has glitter gel. There are these terrific opaque gel pens, watercolor, and then they also have these, which are the metallic markers. This one's in copper, this one's in gold. And so there's a lot to choose from. There are even infusible ink pens. And so, you know, when you're kind of getting started, it can be a little overwhelming. But to start with the basics, what I would suggest is let's use the insert cards in the R20, or which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and at least one pen that is like a regular, where is this one's a 1.0. Let's see, is it this one? At least one pen that's black. Okay, and so let's say I want to make some cards. I could use this with this pen and the Joy app. Okay, I don't want to confuse you because there's a lot of different choices here, but if you're just getting started, start with the basics, which is that R20 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now, I absolutely understand if you go to the store and you're looking for, say, you want to, let's say you're going to do a Halloween party and you want to do Halloween invitations. So you might think, okay, there's not, I want to do like black and orange, let's say. So you go and you look, and I have boxes and boxes of these, but nothing that has black and orange or black and white. So what I have done is I've taken a pack of Cricut paper. This is Cricut 12 by 12 paper, and this is actually the cardstock. I'm going to go up a little bit higher so you can see. This is a bulk 12 by 12 sampler pack, which includes my black, and then we've got like a gray, and there is a cream, and then there's white. Now, the reason why I suggest using the Cricut paper is that's what's used in the insert cards. Cricut paper is a little bit different than, say, the cardstock that you might get at Michael's or Hobby Lobby's or Joann. And I'm going to just show you. This is paper that I have from Michael. So it's a very smooth paper. It's not quite as thick as this paper from Cricut, and it's not textured at all. So here you can see it's textured, and I think when making insert cards, it's probably best to start off, if you want to make your own, to start off with Cricut cardstock. Although you could use this stuff, it's just going to behave a slightly different. Okay, so let's talk about this one here. So let's go back with our theme. Okay, Halloween's coming. We're going to have a Halloween party. So I want to make a bunch of cards in black. So I have a nice sheet of black 12 by 12 paper. And again, this is optional. This is if you have a particular event that you're trying to make for, and you want to be able to control the colors and also save a little bit of money, because when you buy them in these sampler packs, they're varied. So you really you don't get the colors you're looking for. So here's my 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. And of course, I'm going to bring out, this is called a trimmer, personal trimmer, I think they call it. And here you go. Now, you don't have to buy a Cricut one, but this one is a Cricut one. They make them, all different manufacturers make them. And they're just super useful for cutting paper. And what we're going to do is take our 12 by 12 sheet, and we are going to cut it down into that 8.5 by 11 inch size. You see this? And the reason why we're doing that, so we're going to cut off this and this. Now we're going to keep those pieces of scrap, because we keep all of our scrap. But the reason why we're doing this is that the R20 card is actually an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet that is cut in half and made into 2 cards. So out of each sheet of paper, we're going to get 2 cards plus some scrap. So the first step, what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the machine, and we're going to cut at the 11-inch mark. So here I put it in, and I'm going from right to left, and I'm going to just line it up to my 11 inches, push it all the way up here, and then I'm going to take this, I don't know if you can see that, but I have a little like a little thing that you push down and then you push up and down, and that takes off that inch, and that's a nice piece of scrap, so we're going to keep that. Then I'm going to rotate the paper, and I am going to cut at 8.5 inches right here. Right, so we did 11, now we're doing rotated, we're doing 8.5. Make sure you get that nice and correct, pushed all the way to the top. And there is another piece of scrap that we're going to put away for another purpose. So now we have an 8.5 by 11 inch sheet of paper, which is exactly this size, right? Looks like mine's a little bit smaller, so I must have done something wrong. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 8.5 by 11 inch sheet, and we're going to put it in the long way. And I am going to cut it, what's half of 11? 5.5. So we're going to cut it at 5.5 exactly. And now we will have, in theory, mine's off a little tiny bit, but we'll have 2 sheets of paper, almost exactly the same. They should be the exact same size. And then we're going to fold them in half like this. And if you have one, you can use a scraper like that. And then you have a card that is the same size as one of these insert cards, okay? So that's if you want to make your own. I highly recommend you trying this because, you know, this can get a little expensive unless you get them on sale, and they aren't always in the samplers that you want. So I think in terms of Christmas or Thanksgiving or Halloween, and maybe you want to have like brown for Thanksgiving or orange, and Christmas the red, the green, Hanukkah the blues, the golds, and that this is a way that you can get around having to buy these packs. On the other hand, these packs are great because they include envelopes, and if you're making your own size cards, you will need to also make the inserts and buy the envelope. So it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. And that is my next point. So once you have your insert cards, you want to look on this box. And actually my friend Annette, who's on today, has a terrific, like a little chart that tells you all the different sizes and what each piece of that size has to be. So for instance, and I think I have it on my iPad, so I'll show you. I'm going to figure out a way to share it with you too. And let me just go to my picture so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so this is from my friend Annette Graham, who's on today. Now she's gone ahead and taken all of the size cards that are available that you can use with the CardMat. Now not every size, and that includes the square, is going to be able to be cut on the Joy. But if you have a Joy and a Maker or a Joy and an Explorer, and you're going to use the 2x2 mats, you can go ahead and use all of these sizes. So the only 3 sizes, as we pointed out, are these 3. The 3.5 by 4.9, that's called the R10. And then we got the R20, which is 4.25 by 5.5. And then the next one, though I think you can use the R30. I think that 4.7. So you can't use the R40, 5 by 7, S40, or the 5-inch square. You can't use these bottom 4, but you can use these top 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes, for the Joy. So I'm going to figure out a way to share this, because I have had a hard time doing that. So I guess what I'm trying to point out is, if you're going to, why is that doing that? If you're going to do your own cards, you will also need to create an insert that goes with the card that you just made. So here's the card that I just made, right? And you're going to look on either here or on the box itself. You can see the inserts are 4 inches by 5 1/4. So let's go ahead and take that piece of silver glitter that I had and get this. And I am going to cut a 4-inch insert, right? Because I'm doing an A2 size. And I hope I'm not confusing everybody, but this kind of thing, if you're really frugal, and I am really frugal, I want to be able to make my own insert card. So here we got 4 inches. So this is 4 inches wide, and now we need to make it 5 1/4 inches long. So here's what we're doing. We're going to turn it 1 turn, and we're going to find 5 1/4 on here, and then we're going to cut here. We can get 2 out of that, 5 1/4. Just like that. And then we have a nice piece of scrap that we'll put over here. So these are the correct size as our 20 card that we made over here on our own. Okay, now let's get to the machine, right? Come on, Rita, let's get to the machine. So we're going to be using the Joy app to cut these cards. Let's go back to our iPad, and I am going to open up, or I already have opened, my Cricut Joy. We're going back to our trick or treat card. And you'll notice that we have at the bottom here, we have it says choose the card size. Now, just be cautious about this, because as I said, when they first came up with this, they only had one size that fit in the mat, and then they added other sizes. So every card that's in the Joy insert section is going to have at least one size card, and that's the R20 or the A2, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, so you might have choices here. This is where you can get creative if there are other sizes, but we have to just choose that one, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Then we're going to hit next. And here is our design. Now you'll notice at the very top here it says front, and then it says inside. So this is the front. We're looking at the front right now, and we can edit it so we can see how is it going to look. So we're going to go ahead and hit edit. And we cut out a black card. So let's go ahead and make our card black. And then we're going to hit insert, and we're going to make our insert. Oh, they don't have glitter silver. So I'm going to choose something that looks silvery so we can get an idea. All right. And then as far as the pen goes, it was originally a black pen. So we're going to choose a different color pen. Let's go ahead and choose a silver marker pen. Okay, and when you're happy with what you've designed, now clearly I just want to point out, you don't have to actually cut it this way, but I'm a visual person, and so knowing how it's going to look in the end is better for me. If I started and I didn't make any of these changes and just did it, I would get myself confused. So this is why they offer this there. And so we're going to do the check. And now we're ready. If we wanted to do something on the inside, we could do that. And you would just do the same thing. You just edit, and maybe you would add a text. So you can put text and say, come to our Halloween party. And you can't see what it says. Halloween party. And maybe you put all the directions or whatever. Okay, now we've got to change the color here, and way that we can do that is right down here. And we can change it to, again, we can change it to our marker silver. And let's see, what else can we do? Oh, it says come to our Halloween part. So I have to go back and change it to Y exclamation point. Okay. Now I can also change it. This is a bubble letter, so I can hit this and choose. You see I have a choice of font, style, and alignment. So let's start with alignment. I always want to center my card, so I have it on center. The style, I can choose what style I want here. And then font, I can choose this one, which is our writing style. See that? We have all of these different choices. I kind of like this one. And check. And then if I wanted to, I want to put this up higher, say. Or if I wanted to change the size. Okay? So there is our inside of our card. And we're done. And now we can go hit next. Okay, now this is the sort of preparation phase. It's going to tell you all the stuff you need. So for instance, we need insert cardstock, we need a card mat, we need a specific, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch size. This is the pen we need, which is a marker. And then they'll give you like previews and project overviews. So there is the inside and there is the front. Okay. So now what we're going to do is take our card stock, our folded card stock here. Let's take off the top of this mat. This part's sticky. That's why I keep that part on this protector. Because if you leave it open, then, you know, dust or paper fibers and things like that can dull that stickiness, okay? So we're going to put in the back part in here inside this little flap like this, and then we're going to fold it down. I'm pushing it all the way to the top, and you notice that it goes to that. Let me show you. See here, there is our line, 4 1/4. So you don't want to just kind of casually put it in there. You want to put it all the way to the top, and then you're going to press down like this. Okay. And now we're going to get our machine in view, and we have to find our pen as well. So there's our Cricut Joy. I always drag it by the little lip or whatever you call that, the opening. All right. So it's saying now, okay, get this ready, and I'm going to hit make it. Now it's going to connect to my Joy via the Bluetooth, and I'm going to look for my silver metallic marker 1.0. Do you see that? And then you see here's all how I have to do it. I just explained that to you, so we don't have to really go through it. And then we're just going to take and put this underneath these guides, and then the rollers will pick up the mat. You see that? Okay, and it's measuring, and now it's asking us, please could you put in the pen? So we're going to open up this and take out, this is our blade and our housing. The blade, it fits into here. You can remove the blade and change the blade by pressing on this. And then we're going to take our pen, cap, put the cap on the end, and we're going to just pop it in and close it. No pushing, no holding, like with the other machines, okay? Close it. Once we've done that, we're going to hit go. And it is going to do, whoa, wait a second. It's going to do the inside of the card first. So I need to pause this because we pause because I actually put the card in wrong. But, you know, to be honest, it doesn't really much matter. I'm going to take it off the pause and just let it go ahead. And then when I'm ready to do the front of the card, I will go ahead and, I don't know why it's not doing it. Why is my pause not working? Okay, I'm going to resume. Okay, there we go. So you see, you could have kicked it out because I put it in with the textured side on the outside. Remember I told you this paper is kind of textured, and it's not exactly smooth on the back, but it is smoother. And so what I would have done is I should have just opened the card and had the smoother side be the inside, but that's okay. I think you're not going to notice the difference here. So you see it's going to write out or come to our Halloween party or whatever it is you put it in. So Jeanette's asking, can you change the writing on the front of the card? The answer is you could, but not in the Joy app. Okay, in the Joy app, it's very much set up for a newbie, somebody who's not really done it, or they just want it quick. You know, I'm going to take it as it is. But you'd have to go to Cricut Design Space app to make any changes. And also remember, you can, on the Joy app, you could back out of that ready to make insert part and design your own, which is where you could design your own and change the front. Okay? So if you're not happy with the 1,300 cards that are in there and you want to make one on your own, you can do it in the Joy app, but you can't take a pre-designed one and add to it or change it, to my knowledge, it from the Joy app. Okay, the Joy app is for basically a quick craft. Yeah, I agree, Annette. I think it would be nice to know I was going to do the inside first, because I hadn't even thought about it. And then there you go, you know. So once it finishes drawing on the inside, it's almost done. What we're going to do is we're going to have to unload the mat. All right, so here you go. We're going to do unload, and we're going to take and gently take, this is our inside. I don't know why this didn't go. It might have been because I hit pause. And then I'm going to refold it so that I have this on the front. I'm going to put this on this way. Okay, so it's saying refold the card and put it into the mat. Now I'm going to go ahead and put it back into the machine. It still has the writing because there's some writing on the front. Okay. And so it's telling us, make sure you have that pen in there. I'm going to hit go. So it's going to do the writing first. Hopefully. All right. So what else was I going to say? So there are, as I said, there are so many different sizes, choices, and things that you can make. I'm just showing you the basics, okay? There are other things, as I mentioned, like the watercolor pens and the watercolor cards. There's foiling, which I'll be really honest with you, doing foiling in the Joy app, it's the only place that you can do it, but it doesn't come out the way that I want it to. We can try it here after this is done, just to kind of give you an idea of how it works, how it's technically supposed to work. So we'll try that with this silver foil. And here is, you will need, if you want to do foil with the Joy, you will need this foil transfer kit, which is basically the housing and then the foil tip. Okay, so those two things we're going to need coming up when we try this out with foil. I did try the foil yesterday. I was really disappointed. I did let folks at Cricut know that I didn't like the way that it was foiling. And so I guess the only way, the only way that you can make the foil, I really believe it's like some setting in the app, basically, is that you'd have to do it on, say, a laptop, because you can't do foiling in the regular Design Space app. It doesn't allow you to even open a project that has foiling on it. I don't know when that's going to change or if it's going to change, but there you go. Okay. So, and by the way, these two things were designed from those insert cards. So this one here, I wish you could make it better. And then I'm going to just put a note, maybe buy some treats or something. Okay, so let's see, where are we? Come on. Okay, now it's telling us we need to take out the pan and insert the blade. So here's my blade and my housing. I'm going to take this out, put the cap right on there, and then we're going to pop this in and close it. When that's in, we're going to hit go, and it is going to cut out our kitty cat and then the few other things that part of the cutouts. Now, if you want to get really, really good, like our friend Annette, I would suggest that you practice, and consider everything a trial and error sort of thing. So, and I know that's kind of like what Annette has done. She's got a very scientific mind where she's like, okay, how about if I try it this way or I try it that way? And she has worked out a lot of the kinks on her own. So there we go. We're done. We just need to unload it. After you unload it, there is a whole set of like what you need to do in order to finish up. I don't need that. So I'm just going to hit done. I hope that it goes done. And I could save it if I wanted to. I'm going to save it to my, I don't know. It saved it without a name on it. Okay, so here is our card, and we're going to very carefully do this carefully. We're going to start and remove this top part from that sticky bottom. There you go. And you see there's our cutout. Now, some people really like the cutouts, and so what you can do is sort of peel them off and maybe put them in your scrap pile, because it's a cute little cat, isn't it? And there's a nice half moon or quarter moon or crescent moon, I think they call it, and you can peel those off and leave in the bats. Or if you don't care, you can just go ahead and use your scraper and scrape everything off like this. And don't forget to put your mat protector on here, okay? Now we have our card, and we just have to take our insert, which we've already cut out, and which is the silver, and I'm on the inside of the card. And now I'm going to very gently start to just sort of put them in these 4 little corners that are cut out like this. And you may need to gently press it in place. Now, some of these cards, you might say, gee, Rita, I don't like how these lift up like this. And that's where you could, if you wanted to, like this piece here, it's kind of like it could get caught in your envelope. So I would suggest getting your little glue and just dotting, if this glue is going to work. Yep. And just sort of dotting here, and then just slowly pressing that down like that without getting glue everywhere. And this other piece as well needs a little tiny bit of glue. All right. It's hard to glue to glitter, by the way. It's much easier to glue to regular cardstock. So I'm going to put a little extra glue there. Press down, hopefully it'll catch. All right. And then you get yourself an A2 size envelope, or perhaps if you're working from your card, insert card, which I think I must have one of these that's open. No, it's not open. Here, this one's open. I actually have a cart full of these cards open, and because I'm fussy about the colors, and so I have like a bunch that I've opened up, and colors that I don't use, and then I have a whole big section that is there's just the inserts, and then another section that's just the envelopes, which I could just reach back and get myself an envelope right here. All right, and once you're happy with that and you sign it, come to our Halloween party, then you can put it in your envelope. Now, granted, if you are like a regular card maker, these are really basic, and I'm going to show. Hopefully, I'm trying to work out the rest of the week, but I'm going to show you how you can actually make a card without making it an insert card this week. But this is great for when you are stuck for time, or you just need something basic. As I said, I want to just go ahead and for example, just send a card. Happen to see somebody when I'm out shopping, and I find this, and it's like, oh, I got to send them a card. If you're that kind of person, this is a really great opportunity, because then you don't have to sit in front of your machine and decide, what am I going to make and how am I going to make it? And that's usually the part that takes the longest when you're designing. So let's talk about some of the other options here. One is watercolor cards. So here are watercolor cards. These were introduced last year. This is very thick watercolor paper. Let's have a look. It's beautiful, thick watercolor paper. Now, it's great for using watercolor pens on, and you can do this with this app. So, for example, let's go and let's just look. I'm going to try sympathy. Yeah. How about birthday? Do they have a birthday? Okay. Yeah. So, for instance, anywhere you see writing and cutting. So here's a good example. So here is a good example of a birthday cake. It has writing on it, and it has a little bit of cutouts. So what I could do if I wanted to make this a watercolor card, that hit start making, I would choose a size. Now these watercolor cards are size R20, which is the size that we've been working with. So that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then here, we can edit this. We're going to edit the card base to solid. We're going to use cream because that's what color these are. And then in terms of pen, I don't know that they make a distinction here about watercolor, but let's have a look at a watercolor pen. So this one is watercolor. It is a 1.0 millimeter in purple. So I'm going to just choose the marker, okay? And I'll just choose purple look for the marker. And then I hit okay. And then I can go ahead and hit next and make it. And then instead of putting in my regular pen or my regular marker, I'm going to put in the watercolor marker. So I'm going to go ahead and put this. This is a little thicker, so do note that. And we're preparing it. We're opening up. We're taking this out. We're going to put our watercolor pen in there. Now, the one thing that I'm a little concerned about with doing this or showing you this on the app is that you can't control the pressure. So it's quite possible these little holes that we're cutting out are not going to cut all the way through because this is a very thick paper. But if you were working, say, with the regular app, with the Joy, you could cut this and change the base card. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So while we're getting that ready, we're going to get our little brush marker thing. So this comes with the watercolor pens. It opens up like this. I don't want to spill it all over, but it opens up like this. You pour water inside, close it up nice and tight, and then, okay, that's nice and tight. Then you take the cover off. And you see I already have, like, it's stained a little bit blue, but that doesn't matter. It's not going to come off onto your card. And then what you would do is once your card is done, you see how it's making our card. All right, so there it is. We're going to take this card out, and you can do the cuts with the watercolor, but as I said, may not cut all the way through. This is one of those trial and error things, because it's going to cut out the top of this and the little sections over here. And the watercolor cards were not, like, specifically designed to be insert cards so much, because that's what those little holes and things are for. So let's see how it goes. Now, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, I love watercolor. Oh, no, I don't like watercolor. So this is just, again, this is just an option that they've made available to you all. And we can, you know, do it or not do it. And you can try it out. It's a great little extra feature. See how it goes. Almost done. Can you use regular pens on watercolor paper is the question from Deb Mackey. And the answer is yes, you could. The watercolor paper is rather thick, and you could actually make your own insert card from watercolor paper. You can buy it, but you have to make sure you specifically get watercolor paper for the pens to work. Now, you don't have to activate this part right when you do it. You could maybe make a bunch and then come back, but this is how it works. You're going to press down a little bit. See here, it's kind of resilient type of thing. So you can press down. It will add a little bit of water to it, and you decide how much you want to sort of blur those lines like that, or perhaps you want to try to get it all through the card, but I kind of like this effect. You see, you go through, maybe you're not so careful, I don't know, but it's kind of fun. It's a fun, different thing. You don't have to do it. It's just another option for you. Okay? And again, you can come back and do these after you don't have to worry about, oh, I just did it, so I now have to do this part. And it will fill in here. Look at this. We'll fill this all the way in just by putting a little bit of water. And now we have a two-tone candle. Just like that. Like that. Really cute, right? Let's see if it cut out our pieces. I don't know if it's gonna have cut them out. We might have to give it a hand. Yeah, so see, we have to poke these out. The watercolor cards were not designed to do cut and write on them, but I like it this way, so that's why I'm doing it this way. All right, so we're gonna take out these little pieces, and then also these pieces. It also helps if you have, say, one of these, which is a true control knife, and you can go here and just sort of, I'm doing it from the back because I don't want to necessarily mess up my watercolor, so but I'm just going through the back and sort of punching out these pieces like this. There we go. Oop. All right. And then you'd have to sort of take these off or brush them off if you wanted to sort of brush them off. Sometimes you can take them off with this little thing. And then you have this, and you can put your insert in there. So we had another piece of silver, so let's go ahead and try that out. Again, this is a terrific way to sort of while away the afternoon. And I just think of, you know, like a fall afternoon, maybe you've, you know, done all your chores or whatever, all your errands and stuff, and you come back and maybe somebody's watching the game and you're like, oh, I think I'll just play in my craft room. This is a perfect thing to sort of play around with. I think it looks pretty good, don't you? I think so. Look, it's starting. I have to just take all these other little circular things out, little dots. But it looks kind of cute, and it's given it more than just like kind of a basic color. It has also the silver in the background, which is kind of cool. And there you go. I have them all. There's one more. And there you go. Isn't that cute? And again, with the watercolor brush pen, you can go ahead. Now, you could also, if you really wanted to get into the watercolor thing, you could also use the marker straight, you know, on there. But in this case, this is how they were designed, was to use them with the machine. The same holds true with the foiling. And since we've kind of gone over quite a bit, but it's getting late, I don't want to take extra time to talk about the foiling. Plus, I was kind of hoping that I get a response from Cricut about the foiling. I don't know if anybody else has had that same issue about the foiling with the Joy app, but I did notice it didn't work so great the last 2 times I tried it. So I think it's just a setting that they need to change. So there you go. That is all kind of about the insert cards. There's more to talk about. There's more that we could do, but we're running out of time here, and I just kind of wanted to show you at least the basics so you won't get lost if you got your Joy and you're like, what can I do? What's the first thing that I can do? And so in my humble opinion, one of the best first projects is get yourself the Cricut Joy app and check out the ready to make insert cards and see if you can find, now like if you took your dog to the vet, thanks for being the best vet, and that would be a really cute card just to send to give to your vet if you're going and having your dog looked at or whatever, or if you have a new neighbor, right? Hey there, neighbor. So there's a lot here. So I hope that you enjoyed today's project. Again, I feel like Cricut Joy Week could probably be 2 weeks. There's a lot that you can do once you get to know how it all works, but I'm trying to show you all the major things. So tomorrow we're going to work on iron-on, and we're going to iron on wood. So if you have, for example, a piece of wood, like a porch sign wood, if you've been with me a while, you know I've done this before, where I have a primed piece of wood. If you don't have primed, you can just put a primer on it. But I'm going to take a primed piece of wood and using my Joy And then also my Cricut Mini, I'm going to cut out a saying in iron-on, and then I'm going to apply it to my wood, and it's just so much fun, so much easier than doing the vinyl on the wood. So I hope you can come along and see that tomorrow. Okay, that's gonna do it. Yeah, ask them to, yeah. The iron-on is fun and it's pretty foolproof. If you've struggled with vinyl in the past, then this is a great alternative to vinyl, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. We're going to make a really pretty porch sign. We're going to do a horizontal one, and hopefully I can do a vertical one and show you how they both get done using just the Cricut Joy. All right, thank you everybody for coming today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please make sure, if you're not already, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. I am less than 200 people away from hitting my goal, and that goal is 25,000 people. So so if you have a friend, encourage them. If they're struggling with their machine, or they just want some inspo, have them subscribe to my YouTube channel, and there's hundreds and hundreds of videos on there that you can peruse and sort of come up with some different ideas. So I appreciate that. All right, everybody, take care. Love y'all, and we'll see you again tomorrow. And I'm just checking the notes to make sure I haven't missed anything. Thank you, Miss Loretta, for being such a great moderator. All right, everybody, talk to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.